Welcome to Silverstone for the second round of the F3 Cup. Race 1 was claimed by Toby Sowry and he starts on pole position for race 2 ahead of Tristan Cliff and Henry Chart. And away we go, and it's a super start from Tristan Cliff, who jumps into the early lead ahead of Sowry. And it's Mark Harrison who moves clear of Henry Chart as they accelerate through Copse for the first time and sprint on towards Angus and Beckett's complex, where Sowry takes the lead away from Tristan Cliff. Now, what has Tristan Cliff got by way of response? Third place is Mark Harrison, fourth place then is Henry Chart, fifth Stuart Wiltshire ahead of Lee Morgan. As down the hanger straight already, Sowry and racing car moving clear of Cliff. This is the battle though between Henry Chart and Mark Harrison, and Chart leaps to the inside of Harrison, then slides out a little bit wide. Will he be able to hold the line into Vale and Club? Well, yeah, Chart holds that third position. Harrison, though, slipping into the clutch to Stuart Wiltshire, who's next along in fifth. Then it's Lee Morgan, who is leading to the convergence rather than this four-way scrap for third position at the moment. Accelerating into Abbey, there is Lee Morgan in the ex-Carling car, the reigning BRSCC Formula Jello champion. It's Henry Chart, change of car for this weekend. Chart, he's in the 2001 trophy class car, campaigned last time out by Oliver Ray, still running under the Enigma Motorsport banner. Then it's Mark Harrison with Stuart Wiltshire next along as they accelerate out of entry onto the Wellington Straight. It's always enjoyable for the drivers to stretch their legs here at Silverstone on the full Grand Prix circuit. It really lends itself well to excellent Formula 3 racing. Toby Sowry leading the way and now beginning to pull some way clear of Tristan Cliff. This is what happened in the first race of the weekend, and Sowry doing it once more. He has won all three of the races thus far this season. He looks well set to make it 4 from 4. That said, Cliff in second place isn't under particular threat at the moment from Henry Chart. Chart ahead of Mark Harrison, and then we've got Lee Morgan. Morgan has got Wiltshire, and behind then, nice scrap going on for 7th and 8th between Nick Robinson and Tony Bishop, two perennial competitors in the F3 Cup. They'll be enjoying this competitive run at Silverstone. Lee Morgan now ahead of Stuart Wiltshire. So Wiltshire loses the place. Now, what can Morgan do about reeling in Mark Harrison? Morgan had a difficult time at Snetterton Instant very early in the first race with Henry Chart. Really set back his weekend, and the problem is these cars are so finely tuned and set up that if you damage your suspension like Lee Morgan did, it's something you can't really rectify to get the car exactly as you want on track. So they'll have to have taken it back, re-rigged it, and then reconfigured all the suspension settings. Nick Robinson and Tony Bishop continuing their battle. It's Robinson who keeps his nose in front of Bishop. Nothing Tony can do just at the moment to regain the place as they head out of Stowe into Vale and Club. Robinson, though, just misses the apex into Vale. Gathers it up okay for Club, but just might give an opening for Tony Bishop. Accelerating past the Silverstone wing pit on towards Abbey. Tony Bishop taking advantage of the slipstream effect behind Nick Robinson, because strange as it may seem, these Formula 3 cars in the F3 Cup, they've actually got an awful lot more grip than power. So although they look like miniature Formula 1 cars, and compared to a road car, they're devastatingly quick, in reality, the front and rear spoilers actually give far more grip than the power available to the drivers, and therefore any slipstream effect available is gratefully received. Tristan Cliff in now an increasingly distant second position. He's got Henry Chart and Mark Harrison not too far back though, and Cliff, who was unlucky not to claim the F3 Cup title last year, one or two too many non-finishes really cost him because he racked up the wins throughout most of 2013. Still the Bishop and Robinson battle continues, and Tony Bishop looks to challenge into Copse corner. Can't quite squeeze through him. For the guys at the very front end of the field, Copse is almost flat out in an F3 Cup car. Max and Beckett not quite. Robinson having to really plant his right foot here to make sure that Tony Bishop stays behind him. Now the key for Robinson is a clean exit from Beckett's to Chapel Curve, because he needs to carry all the momentum he can onto the hanger straight. For Toby Sowry, this is becoming a copybook performance Robinson locks his brake into Vale, and that's a golden opportunity for Tony Bishop, who sneaks through and takes 7th place away from Nick Robinson. And Robinson is going to have a pretty long run to the checkered flag now, because he will have absolutely flat-spotted his front tyres as a result of that, which will give an awful lot of vibration in the cockpit, and in turn that will pass the pressure into his arms. Well, there is that 3rd place runner. Henry Chart is also at the head of the trophy class. Change of car this weekend for Chart in the 2001 Dallara. All the cars in the field are Dallaras, which have really been in British Formula 3 racing the preeminent chassis since midway through the 1993 British Formula 3 season. So well over 20 years now of Dallara domination. We've seen the odd entry from Lola's, which went well in the hands of Danny Watts, won at Thruxton, and also the McGow chassis as well for Nick Tandy. He scored a win at Rockingham a couple of seasons ago. Rockingham, the next stop on the calendar for the cars in the F3 Cup. Very different track to the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, tight and twisty, whereas here we have got the long open straights. Chance really for the drivers to put the power down, enjoy the high speeds, and also, more importantly, the high cornering speeds. Something like Stowe, with all that downforce, really though puts pressure on the driver's necks. High G-force corner. Raoul Brooklands continues this battle for 7th place, and at the moment it is car number 7, Tony Bishop, who maintains the position. Nick Robinson, though, is that not the political correspondent, Nick Robinson, in 8th place, chasing down Tony Bishop, but he's a couple of car lengths too far back. I'd suggest to challenge into Copse on this occasion. Indeed, that's exactly the case. He'll look to pick up the throttle as soon as he can on the Exeter Copse. Challenge over the brow into Maggots and Beckett's. Toby Sowery making his switch to cars this season, having been so quick in karting and immediately right on the pace. Well, last year, Alice Powell was a front runner in the F3 Cup. She has graduated onto the British Formula 3 Championship for 2014 with the Carlin team, and that's really one of the purposes of this championship. It gives the opportunity for drivers, first of all, to race almost contemporary Formula 3 machinery at a fraction of the budget you'd be doing in a national or international Formula 3 championship, and for young, ambitious drivers, it's the opportunity to learn Formula 3 cars, learn the circuits of Great Britain, and then make the step on into the British Formula 3 Championship or other single-seater categories. Tony Bishop and Nick Robinson continuing to do battle, and once more Robinson just snatching the brakes, locking the tyres. He really is pushing hard here. Nick Robinson almost too hard, because these cars, you just have to finesse them, drive very smoothly, very cleanly, so otherwise you're going to overexert the tyres, particularly as in the case of Robinson, you're right up behind the car in front. Nick Robinson doing just that. Because of the downforce given off by these Formula 3 cars, you can follow in closely for a while, but then your tyres will start to degrade, then you'll start to get understeer, which in layman's terms means the car doesn't want to go into the corner, and then it starts to become a whole different ball game and a very difficult run through to the checkered flag. That said, Nick Robinson seems to have the pace here to really challenge Tony Bishop. The pair of them very, very evenly matched. Back to 3rd place man, Henry Chart. He's chasing down 2nd place car Tristan Cliff. Race leader remains Toby Sowery. Fight for 7th though is still probably the closest on the track. A really intense battle is between Tony Bishop and Nick Robinson. Bishop running in a 2007 spec Dallara. Nick Robinson, slightly older car, 2002 spec machine. Now, many of these cars will come directly from the teams that compete in the British Formula 3 Championship. Certainly that's the case for the 2007 spec cars, whereas others have travelled all over the world to the Austrian Formula 3 Championship, the Euro Formula Open, I believe in the Australian Formula 3 Championship in 1 or 2 cases, before coming back here to the F3 Cup. Tony Bishop still able to withstand the pressure from Nick Robinson. Robinson, though, driving much more smoothly, and when he's able to string together a good couple of corners, Robinson's got the pace over Tony Bishop. It's not an awful lot Bishop can do to pull away, but the same time, Robinson yet to challenge, but he's now got a good run the inside line into Brooklands. A golden opportunity this for Nick Robinson, but Bishop taking the wide conventional racing line into Brooklands means he cuts off Robinson's nose and there's no way through. And Bishop maintains 7th place. Moving into the latter stages of proceedings here. It's not too far to go here for Tony Bishop. It'll be a fine performance if he maintains the place. 3rd place, Henry Chart moving clear of 4th place man Mark Harrison. It's been a solid performance this though from Harrison. And certainly if Henry Chart were to make any sort of mistake, near enough to easily elevate himself up into 3rd position. That's what he's going to be looking to do. Harrison then in the 2006 specification, Dallara. Back to the battle between the cars of Tony Bishop and Nick Robinson. The pair of them have been pretty much conjoined throughout the race. Robinson is rapidly running out of laps here to make his move on Tony Bishop. Bishop though, on the limit of adhesion into Vale, and the same through Club. The car breaks away. That's the real characteristic of these slicks and wings Formula 3 cars. They've got all the grip in the world until they've got none at all. It has been a perfect weekend for Toby Sowry, a perfect season for him so far. He makes it 4 from 4 in the F3 Cup at Silverstone, leading home, albeit somewhat distantly. Tristan Cliff in 2nd place. He's going to be completing the podium. Henry Chart, as Tony Bishop will hold on to claim 7th from Nick Robinson. So the win for Sowry, 2nd place for Cliff, and Chart rounds out the rostrum and wins the trophy class. So 4 races into the season, Sowry building up a comfortable championship lead from Tristan Cliff and Stuart Wiltshire. Well, that's it from Silverstone. Join us in a couple of weeks' time with all the action from Rockingham.